Hello everyone and good morning and welcome to today's morning report on Tuesday the 21st of October with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Handtech Markets. These European indices have started fairly positively and that's certainly come on the back of a couple of things really. Wall Street was strong into the close last night. The S&P 500 up 0.9%, so that was another strong positive day there. Just as an aside, also, I talked at reasonable length last week about the fact that when the VIX starts to come back again, that could be seen as a big buy signal, and has been the tendency for signalling market bottoms. And that look at that return in the VIX back down towards, well, certainly below 20 anyway, having hit above 30, so a significant correction in that indicator there. So perhaps we are seeing, or certainly I believe we may well have seen the medium-term bottom anyway, but certainly that VIX volatility index coming lower again points towards that sort of scenario as well. But also overnight we had positive results from Apple, which Apple is obviously a massive company, one of the biggest in the world, in fact, and I think around 2-3% of the S&P 500. So a significant gauge there for US consumer spending. So it's a good gauge for the economic recovery. And also overnight we had Chinese GDP, which although it's dipped slightly to 7.3%, it did actually beat expectations of 7.2%, so a fairly positive and upbeat takeaway from that number. So pretty much across the board, strong sentiment which is being seen on these indices today. And an interesting turnaround. I think in the past 24 hours there's been a bit of a change of tack. The dollar has started to suddenly come under a bit of pressure. This dollar index is drifting back towards that 84.60 level, which was that old resistance, new support, which was the spike low from the middle of last week. However, the drift is being seen, and we're actually seeing dollar FX pairs being impacted on this. I mean, you're looking at the likes of cable, which is breaking a downtrend. You're looking at the likes of dollar yen, which I've been talking about as a medium-term buy signal. I might have to change my opinion on that because it's turning lower, and certainly under a bit of pressure again today. The gold price as well, again, that's breaking out. So some really significant levels are being tested and beginning to be broken on this dollar. So and I'll focus on that in my charts in a bit, but certainly very interesting moves that we are seeing. Now today we've not got a great deal of economic data. You've got the UK public finances at 9:30, which could have an impact on sterling, but into the afternoon we're looking mostly at the US existing home sales, which is forecast to come just slightly up, about percent higher, up to 5.1 million homes there. But as I said, the general sentiment is fairly positive coming into the day. Now moving on to my chart of the day, which is Euro Yen. And Euro Yen has been on this nice recovery. It's been this that's across the past on an hourly basis, on an hourly chart, and just rallied back towards this 137 figure. If you look on this chart, it's very interesting actually. It tends to move in big figures. 136 is a 136.50 had been a support. But 136 is certainly a support level. 137 is the resistance initially, and then 138 as well had been an old support, which has turned into new resistance. So it does tend to move in big figures. And at the moment, it's just tailed off in this recovery, which begs the question, has that recovery now finished? Well, I don't necessarily think so. I think it has been moving, this is on the daily chart, moving pretty much in the course of the last 5 months actually, just in this sideways band, and there's no real suggestion that band's going to stop, although we had that spike lower last week, but it recovered very quickly from that. And I think within this band, this 138 level, which is this line here, this blue dotted line, that tends to be a very strong pivot level in this chart. And I think that we're probably going to now see Euro Yen move back above that, move back towards that line. You've got also on this chart You draw in here, that downtrend's been broken, so that's a positive, and I just think that it's just improving. All these momentum indicators are gradually turning around, so I think that there is a recovery on track for this euro yen. It's slightly consolidated overnight, you'd argue. Certainly the dip has sort of formed support again around that 135, 136.20 mark. But it certainly looks like support is forming, and I think it's going to continue to higher. Certainly, if it can break out above that $1.37 mark, I think that it will be on its way back towards $1.38 again. So, in terms of the breakdown supports, you'd be certainly looking at the level around 135.70, and as I said, 135.50 as well, which is another key, sort of old support, and again they're 135. So it does tend to move around in round numbers in euro yen. So interesting chart in that regard. Anyway, I wish you good luck in your trading on euro yen today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.